This week we are discussing Tarble, and more specifically, should he be made canon? Now, Tarble's only appeared in one special, Yo, Son Goku and Friends Return. But apart from that, he hasn't really done much. So, what do you think? Should he be made canon?
No.
No.
For those of you who don't know, Tarble is Vegeta's non-canon brother.
He is.
Yes, he's there wasn't an English dub version of this, so some people may not have watched it. He literally appeared in just this one little special, and kind of from an animation point of view, and then he's just kind of disappeared into for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, his resurgence is Kaba. That's why I say no.
Yeah.
That is, yeah. If you look at the animation of Tarble's, it's Kaba.
It is, yeah.
That's the main reason why I should not be. If you hadn't released that animation back then and you release that now, you would be so confused, because you would basically have this second character come into it as Vegeta's little brother, and you would basically just have two twin characters. One is Vegeta's little apprentice, and then Tarble, who basically looks exactly the same as Kaba almost.
He does, actually, yeah. Very similar.
Yeah, as is, but basically they look the same in, like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They look so alike. It's crazy. And I just think that that you just shouldn't play. They've just done exactly what they've done with what do you call him in Goku Black? What's he called?
I don't know which character you're talking about.
From the World Tree.
Lord Slug? Turles?
No, Turles. Yeah, Turles. Yeah. They've just done that with Goku Black. Oh. They've just done exactly the same principle. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
The exact same thing with Tarbles and Kaba. They've took an old non-canon thing and then refurbished it, made it better, and then made it canon.
Yeah.
And I think they've done it. They've done it better. I think they've done it better, because for this special, he's useless and pointless and weak, and there's no real substance to him, in my opinion. He's pointless. He's just a plot point. Whereas Kaba is, there's some substance. I like Kaba. He's there's a lot to him. There's a lot there. There's potential. I think that's a good word for Kaba. Potential. And he brings out a lot in Vegeta, which I like. There's a lot of story there for him, and to build him up between Kaba and Vegeta, and I like it. So again, they took a naff little old school non-canon character, and they've reformed them into a very good character.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think they should make him canon.
Yeah. I think we should kind of mention the plot of the special, at least. So Tarble comes to Earth because his planet was being attacked by two of Frieza's goons, who survived apparently and have found Tarble's planet and are wreaking havoc all over the place. And Tarble somehow just happens to know where Vegeta is, and even though he's never mentioned ever before at any point, he's like, yeah, let's just go see Vegeta, and he's my older brother, so he can help maybe, who knows. And he just lands at Earth with his half alien, half robot wife.
Thing. Yeah. Which is Xeno, by the way, which is just a knockoff of Xeno.
It is, yeah, she is, yeah. But Tarble turns up, he looks exactly like Kaba pretty much, maybe even slightly smaller than what Kaba is. But he's a weak Saiyan who doesn't fight, and he needs help to defeat two of Frieza's goons, who in the special we find out are very weak, to the fact that Goten and Trunks are the ones to take them out, because you know what, let's give them something to do, so them two are the ones who actually fight, while Goku and Vegeta and everyone else just watch it all happen. So yeah, that's the plot point. So Tarble is very weak, that he can't even take out these two goons, I guess. And yeah, it doesn't make sense that he shows up. He says that just before Planet Vegeta blew up, he was sent away to another planet to train because his dad, like King Vegeta, found him weak, so he sent him to this planet before it blew up. And he's just never bothered to try and get in touch or see how his brother's doing or anything like that. But somehow he knew that Vegeta was on Earth and knew exactly how to find him. It doesn't really make sense, but it is a quick special. So, they had to kind of build some sort of story for him to be there. But Vegeta never mentioned him at all, ever, throughout Dragon Ball. And he's just as surprised that he shows up and then he's like, yeah, this is my younger brother. And it's like, what? You have a younger brother all of a sudden? Okay.
To be honest, however, the most shocked he seems about the entire situation is more the fact that the small creature is Tarble's wife.
Yeah.
And he's actually quite respectful about it as well.
Yeah. She looks like the Android logo, like the Android phone logo. That's what she looks like.
Yeah.
But she's pink and white.
mixed with Xeno. Literally,
Yeah.
like that's literally like it's. I think it's where they got the concept for Xeno from.
It could be, honestly. Yeah, it might be.
It's so weird looking. Like it's got the weird round white head as well. It's so odd.
Yeah, just giant, perfectly circular head, and then just a tiny face right in the middle. It's strange, but yeah, I don't know. I agree. I don't think he should be canon because I kind of agree with you with the Kaba point, and that was my main point as well. I think Kaba is what they wanted to do with Tarble. I guess if they were going to continue the show back in, I think it was 2012 when they released this short. This short film, I guess. They brought in Tarble, and this was like a trial, I guess, and everything they've done with Kaba is probably what they would have done with Tarble if they released a series then and could have included him. The only difference being is that he's not Vegeta's brother anymore, which makes sense because Vegeta would have mentioned him even in passing to say, yeah, like when Planet Vegeta blew up, not just my dad and all the Saiyans blew up, but also my brother died. Because in his eyes, I'm guessing he thought Tarble died. He could have mentioned him, but he never did.
I think the only justification they can give is the Vegeta back then was so cold that Tarble being weak may as well have been dead to him.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a cop out because that's not the Vegeta we have now. The Vegeta we have now is a family man.
Also, like Vegeta is constantly all about Saiyan pride, and he does constantly mention the fact that Frieza blew up his planet, he destroyed his people, he destroyed his family. Like, well, he mentions his dad specifically, but
yeah,
he would have mentioned his brother if they had any sort of plan for him at all.
Yeah,
but he didn't. Yeah,
it's a strange one, but I think they've definitely done it because literally with Kaba, they focused on arguably the weakest of Saiyans. Like Kale is, whilst Kale is the most timid and everything like that of that group of Saiyans, she has her own strength in the fact that she's essentially Broly.
Yeah.
Like she has a hidden strength.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do that with Vegeta. Caulifla is obviously Goku.
Which I hate, but yeah.
Yeah. Kaba is weakness. It's what he is. He is just weak. He is exactly what Tarbles is. There is the level of similarities is insane.
Yeah.
Like when I literally watched it before we had this podcast, and yeah, it's just like I was just looking at Kaba basically.
Yeah.
And I think they've just done exactly what they did with Turles and Goku Black. They've just taken an old character and they've reshaped him and they've just made it a good character.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever. I think that's the best thing that you can do is take something that's not canon because you have you've got a potential for good character and they've made because Goku Black is some of their best material in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah.
It's a fantastic character. I love Goku Black. And so I think if they can do that more, do it.
Yeah.
Happy for them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what they've done, in my opinion. So go for it.
Yeah.
And
Well.
Kaba is a fantastic character, and I think he has more potential, and I'd love to see more of him. I don't know when we're going to see more of him, if it's going down the manga vein, if the animation follows the manga vein, because I don't think we're going to see him for a little while if that's the case.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, I don't know too much because, again, we don't follow it that much. But I do want to see more.
Yeah, I would love to see more as well. But let's kind of switch it up a bit. So we're both kind of agreeing that we don't think he should be made canon. But if they put up a teaser trailer or something and said, "Look, here comes Tarble. He's going to be made canon." How would you like him to be made canon? I guess because for me, they can kind of scrap everything that happened in that special because it's non-canon anyway. So they don't need to make him as weak as he is in that. Like they can make him strong if they wanted to. He can still look the same. That's fine. He can look similar to Kaba if they really want to, or they could change up his design slightly. Maybe make him big. Be like Vegeta's big little brother. Or whatever, who knows? They could change his design, they could change his strength levels, they could change how he is. Yeah, what would you like if they were to bring in Tarble?
You definitely need an animation change. You definitely need you definitely need to look different.
Yeah.
They would have to redo his model. I think you need to be strong, only stronger, because you would need an entire character rework, in my opinion. You couldn't have that character because that character is now taken, in my opinion. It'd have to come in. I don't know if you would need to be a Super Saiyan.
I don't know. It depends if they decided. Yeah, actually, no, he doesn't need to be a Super Saiyan.
Because I think they could. I think that's how they could develop a bond.
Yeah.
I think they could because when because that was actually a small bonding moment between Trunks and Vegeta in the Goku Black arc. It was one of the main times that just Trunks and Vegeta spent some time together because they never do that.
Yeah.
Or future Trunks, I should say. Sorry, is when they were training together. It's when Vegeta bonds best with people. When he does it with Kaba, it's when he does it with Trunks. So it would be a good opportunity for them to engage. So you could showing him Super Saiyan and engaging in that way and everything. So yeah, I don't think you would necessarily have to have Super Saiyan. Or he could have found a different type of strength, and that could be a way for them to go down a whole different avenue.
Maybe, like, one thing that's just popped into my head there when he said maybe he could have a different type of strength is maybe he has some sort of weapon that he found from this different planet that is strong. Like, he himself is not strong, but maybe this weapon that is found on this planet is strong, or maybe it's got some sort of special ability or power inside this type of weapon that he uses, which makes him difficult to deal with. Maybe he's just like extremely fast, but he's not strong, so he has to use this weapon to actually deal damage. Like, similar to how Trunks uses his sword all of the time, maybe, Tarble can have some sort of sword or something similar. Maybe some sort of blaster, I guess, since if he was around during the whole Frieza during Planet Vegeta time as well, he would have seen all of Frieza's goons using blasters, so maybe he has forged himself some sort of incredible blaster gun that does a lot of damage. Maybe he's like that. I think for a design change, I agree. He does look too much like Kappa. And an easy fix, which would work, is give him Vegeta's hairstyle. Because Vegeta and King Vegeta have exactly the same hair. It's not even slightly different. It is exactly the same. So give Tarble Vegeta's hairstyle as well. Easy fix. He does kind of then look a bit like a mini Vegeta, although his face shape is completely different. So the hairstyle, it wouldn't be like a Goku Turles thing where they both look exactly the same. It would be, I don't know, they wouldn't look the same. It would kind of be like Goku and Goten. Yeah, I guess.
I've just had another side thought. I don't know why when you said blaster. I mean, he doesn't even have to be a fighter necessarily.
No,
He
it
could be
doesn't.
like a smuggler or something like that, or he could just
Hmm.
have chosen his own path. Like he could be like a rogue, this lovable rogue or something like that, or
Yeah.
a space pirate or something like that. Like just anything like something totally different that you wouldn't expect of just your average Sith. Like, we always have a Saiyan who's a fighter.
Hmm.
Yeah, our only Saiyan who's not a fighter is our good old Gohan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so to have a pure-blooded Saiyan who's not that and was chosen a different path would be quite different and would be quite interesting. Um, and to see that from a different character would be quite interesting.
Hmm.
Um, and rather than just stepping into another a bunch of Saiyans who are just a bunch of fighters who love to fight, it would be quite interesting, I think. So yeah, having them do something like that would be quite cool, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like smuggler, like space pirate, smuggler, something like that. That could be quite cool.
Yeah. No,
Just
that gave me an idea when you mentioned that as well. Like, if he was some sort of like space pirate, or maybe he was forced into doing like thievery or something. So he's very nimble. He knows how to break into places, that type of thing. They could easily have like some sort of mini arc or whatever, where there's maybe like, I don't know, a giant castle or something like that, where the bad guys are all in the middle, but they've got traps everywhere, and you can't use instant transmission because Goku doesn't know how to get there or who it is exactly, and they need to get around this course or unlock things, and like Tarble can just show off his like you know abilities to get around things better. I don't
like
know.
like an old school episode of Dragon Ball. You mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that would be good. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
No.
it's too based on strength now, and
Yeah.
even if something like that happened, I can just imagine Goku and Vegeta would just literally fly straight through the walls because why not? They're strong, they can do it. But if they made it some sort of impenetrable material and like instant transmission didn't work and they've got to go through these traps, then he could show off his nimbleness. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Make him
It could
stand
just
out.
be. Yeah. It could just be he's got his smarts rather than his strength.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because it could just be that that's why he did go away, that he did still get sent away and they still stick by that
Hmm.
because he was weak, and so they stick with that. But when they meet up again, he's still weak, but he's also really clever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Make Gohan be like kind of jealous at how like
clever he is.
smart he
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah. But he's like sneaky smart and stuff
Hmm.
like that. Well, yeah, he's like Um, yeah, so he could be like techie and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and it's like you could get him with Bulma as well and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah, so we could get him. He could get on Bulma's good side.
Mhm.
That could make Vegeta jealous, stuff like that as well.
Yeah. There's lots of possibilities, but if they did bring him in just like they did in the special, then I think it wouldn't work. He is too similar to Kaba. Although, if they did bring him in exactly like that, it would make an interesting storyline if Tarble and Kaba ever met up, because they're basically the same. And Vegeta, I'm guessing he would kind of just train Tarble to get stronger anyway, since he's his brother. So Tarble and Kaba together, training partners, might be interesting. Who
I think it
knows?
would take away. I think it would take away a lot of the meaning from Kaba.
Yeah, potentially.
Like it feels like a bond between Kaba and Vegeta.
Mm.
And then if he's just training any Saiyan who's weak, it's like, oh well, okay, so that actually didn't mean anything. Like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever.
Yeah,
I
I
know it's
guess
his
so.
brother, but it's kind of like, oh well, never mind,
Yeah.
whatever.
He could just refuse training if he did come in as smart or whatever, just saying, I
Yeah,
don't like the fight, I'm not going to fight. But I can help you build stuff and things like that.